Hello students, welcome to Web Technology Lab. In this video, I will explain about how to do the exercise 10, which is a single page web application development using Angular.js. As you know that Angular.js is a MVC framework. It is a library file which we have to include. Basically, it is a JavaScript file which we can include in your project so that we can include MVC framework. So you know what is meant by MVC, right? Model, view, controller, pattern. There is a model class. Model defines the data, and the view class is there. View defines the HTML page view, and there is an intermediate business logic written by using a controller component. So using this MVC framework, you will be doing this exercise. So under this exercise, you will be doing two questions. One is question number 1. You have to create a HTML web application using Angular.js. You are going to create loan EMI calculator as per the information and guidelines given below. Here you have to create a design a user interface for collecting the data like loan amount, annual interest rate, and tenor and all. So sample pages given below. Here you can see that. So when user gives the input loan amount and annual interest rate and tenor, yes, you have to produce the output using Angular.js controller logic. You have to generate the output and you have to display it here. Similarly, the another question you have to do using Angular.js array concept. You know what is meant by array? So in Angular.js also we can create an array and we can store some set of items. So for that you have to demonstrate that, you have to create a product inventory application where you have to take the product name and product price, and you have to provide one button. When you click the button, you have to store the details in the array and store the display the data inside this table format. So when you run the program, the output should be like this. So the data whatever we are adding, it will be displayed in this table. And along with that, you have to do one more functionality to delete the items which we have included in the array. So for that you have to provide one delete option inside this item. So these two questions you have to complete as part of this 10th exercise. So now I will show you one demonstration how to integrate Angular.js framework and how to implement one application using with related to question number 1 as well as with related to question number 2. So first thing is you have to open the NetBeans ID and go to file, create a new project. So here you can select HTML5, the right side HTML5. Here give the name of the project. For example, this is exercise 10 application, right? So I'll put as exercise 10 app. Click next, and you can uncheck these files. Click finish. So now the project is being created, and you can see the project in the NetBeans project explorer left side. You can see that exercise 10 app is created. So basically Angular.js is a client side framework, so there is no need of server side, but we can also use server side programming also if it is needed. For this exercise we are not going to access any data from database. If you want to access database, you need to go for the server side program where we have to integrate Angular.js. So first we can start with the Angular.js, how to include the Angular.js framework. So for that you need a JavaScript library file. So for that you can go to this W3 School website and you can go for this Angular.js tutorial page. Inside this tutorial page, the first page itself, you can see there is a URL is available. You can copy this URL and just copy, right click, copy, open new tab, paste it. So here you'll be getting the library content. Now you have to press Ctrl S, you'll get the file. When you press Ctrl S, you'll get the it will ask you to save the file. The file name is angular.min. So I am going to save it in a desktop. It's already there. I have saved it. Okay. So I'll just delete this item. Okay, so I'll just save it again. Okay, right. So now the file is saved in the desktop. So from this desktop I have to copy the file. So I have the file here. Here I have the file angular.min. So I'll copy this file and open the project, go to site root, you can paste it. Now the angular.min.js file is included. So this is a AngularJS framework library file which will provide the MVC framework functionalities. So now we have to include the file inside this HTML page. So there is a simple way is you can drag and drop, so that automatically code will be generated. Of course you can manually also you can type this code, right? So now let's start with the creating a first program. So first program what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate one simple application how to create a simple interest calculator. So I'll open the question here. So I'm going to demonstrate this question, how to create AngularJS program to create a simple interest calculator, and how to design it. So once you practice this, you can able to do the first question. That is very simple. The first question is actually here it's mentioned, right, loan EMI calculator, something related to that. I'm going to explain that. So you have to do that loan EMI calculator by referring this demonstration. So first thing is you have to include the AngularJS angular.min.js file and ensure that that file is here in the site root. Okay. So now I'll just maximize this code and here include one more script tag. So where we have to write the AngularJS application logic. So include one script tag. So inside script tag, first thing is you have to create one application object. First thing is the application object is defined by, there is a concept called Angular module. So you can use angular.module within the bracket you can specify the name of the module, for example my application, and you can mention square bracket. The square bracket is for including any external features like some advanced features in AngularJS you can integrate by using this dependency. So now once you create this app Angular module, this module I can link to this body tag in order to perform the, in order to bind the view component. So in order to bind that we have to use ng-app equal to my app. So now the module is activated when the page gets loaded. So the body of the document gets loaded, the AngularJS module will be activated automatically since we have used the directory called AngularJS ng-app my app. So now in AngularJS there are three components. MVC, we have a model which is a data, and controller. So controller defines the logic, business logic to be performed, and finally view component. So view component, it can be any HTML element. So model is a data, view is a HTML element. Intermediate we have controller logic. So the controller logic is responsible for generating the data, taking data from the view component and processing it and updating the view component based on the logic. So first we need to create a controller. So after creating module, using this module we have to create a controller, app.controller. Inside give the name of the controller. For example, I'm going to give the name of the controller as logic. So otherwise we can give the simple interest calculator, simple interest, the name of the application you can give. So that's the main job of this controller, right? So we can give the name of the simple interest calculator. Next we have to represent a function like this, ends with semicolon. Now inside this function we have to write the business logic, how to calculate the interest from based on the data from the view component. So in order to write that, press enter, you will get the block like this. So open curly bracket, here it is closed, right? Now controller is created, this controller should be activated. So in order to activate this controller, you have to link this controller with the body of the document using ng-controller. So there is one more directory called ng-controller. You can use this controller to link this controller with this body of the document. So when you do these two steps, after adding ng-app and after adding ng-controller, now this controller will be having full control on the view component inside the body tag. Inside the body tag, if you create any HTML element, those view component can be accessible by the controller. So in order to access the data whatever available in the view component, there is one more component, there is one more concept called, there is a predefined object called $scope. So the $scope we have to use inside this function. So what is the use of this $scope is, by adding this ng-controller symbol interest calculator in the inside body tag, inside this if you create any data, that data we can access inside this controller by using this object. The same way, if you create any result here or any data if you generate inside controller, that data you can bind inside the view component, right? So this is a view and this is a controller. So data is called as model. That's why model view controller part. Okay. So now let's go to the question. So inside the question, so this question only we are going to practice. So design HTML page for collecting. First we have to design the HTML page for collecting amount, rate of interest and years. So go inside the body tag, we have to design the page. First one is the amount. So you can create a text box. So input type is equal to, we can take it as number, and after when you create a text box, we have to bind the data to a variable. So you have to use ng model. We have to create a model. So this is actually the amount is a model name. Okay. So now we are getting the text box, right? So why I am using ng-model is, when you type some data inside this text box, I want the data inside this controller logic. Inside this controller logic, I want the data, right? So in order to bind that, in order to take the data, we have to use this directive ng-model. We have to give one name. So now this amount can be accessed by using the scope variable, scope.amount. We can access the data from this text box. So this is how the MVC framework is working. So when you use ng-model, using that model name, we can access inside the controller using this reference $scope.amount. So using $scope, we can access any model inside the body tag. So that's the concept you have to understand. So now just for understanding, I'll explain here. So like this, we have to create two more text boxes. One for amount, next one is rate of interest. Okay. So rate of interest text box we have to create, rate of interest. So in percentage, rate of interest in percentage. The last one is years. So last input is year, right? So three input we have to collect. Okay. So first one is the amount. Next model name is rate of interest, right? So we'll put as rate, and the last one is year. So now we have three text boxes. One is the amount, next one is rate of interest, next one is years. Okay. So when I feed the interest, when I give the input value, I want the output. I want to calculate the simple interest using this formula. I'm using one formula. Final amount will be P multiplied by 1 plus RT. Using this formula, we can able to calculate the total matured amount of the based on the simple interest calculator. Okay. So here rate of interest is percentage. So you need to convert based on the percentage. Okay. If it is 5%, you have to use it by using 5 by 100, like that. So now this should be happened when you are typing the data itself. Okay, so for that we have to study one more concept called AngularJS events. AngularJS events. So here when you are typing itself, I want to display the result. When you are typing itself, I want to display the result. So we have to use ng-keyup. So this event we can attach for every text box, and we can link one function. That function will do the logic, right? So go to the text box, every text box, ng-keyup equal to, I'll create one function called calculate. Okay, this is a function calculate. This function we have to call in every text box using this ng-keyup, right? So something I'll just make it like this, so that here every text box I am using ng-keyup, right? So if I type amount, immediately it will call calculate function. If I type rate of interest also, this will call the calculate function. So you may ask, where is that calculate function? So that one we have to define. Okay, so how will you define a calculate function inside this controller? So for that you have to use scope dot one variable you have to create exactly similar to the function name. Whatever function you are calling, the same name you have to use that variable. In this variable we have to store one anonymous function like this. You have to store one anonymous function. First you write the function clearly, then go inside the curly bracket, press enter. You'll get like this. Okay, so inside this function only we are going to write the logic for calculating the simple interest. Not simple interest, calculating the final matured amount. Okay, by using simple interest formula calculation. Okay, so it's a p into 1 plus rt we are going to calculate here. So in order to after calculation we have to show the result. So in order to show the result, after this text boxes I am going to prepare one div element. Here I am going to display the result. So in this div element we can give some colors, like for example blue color. Margin I am going to set margin left 50 pixel. Inside I want to display the result. So how will you display the result? In AngularJS we can display the result in easiest way. There is one expression symbol is there, using double curly bracket. Inside we have to show the result. Okay, so first we have to find the result. So in order to find the result, you have to create one variable called result. Okay, is equal to, now apply this formula. Apply the formula. P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest, T is the tenor years. So now I have binded the text box, first text box to ng model amount, second text box to ng model rate, third text box to ng model year, right? So now the model name is amount, rate, year. Using this model name we can access the value from the text box, right? So first thing is we have to access the amount. So use scope dot amount from the text box, then multiply, then you have to use one bracket. I'm going to implement this formula, 1 plus RT. 1 plus RT. R is actually, again you put one more bracket. R is the rate, right? So this one. So the rate you have to convert. Rate directly you cannot use that. You have to use scope dot rate, convert the percentage 100, multiply by year, right? So you can put that, you can write, it's actually both ways correct only. You can multiply the year and divide by 100 also correct only. Okay, so otherwise you can do right, you put one more bracket, that is also fine. Okay, so anyway just you can do that, right? So that's all the that one is implement, right? And here also you cannot directly use that scope dot year. Okay, so for every model you have to access using scope dot year. Now it will take amount, and multiply with 1 plus scope. The rate will be taken and divided by 100, which will be multiplied by year, which will be added by 1, then it will be multiplied by the amount. So finally the result will be stored here. This result we have to display inside this div element. So just copy the variable result here. So when you calculate some data inside this controller part, it will update the result over here, right? So this is about how to include Angularjs framework for implementing a simple interest calculation. So now we'll save the program and I'll show you the output. So here you can see the amount. For example, 1 lakh, I'm giving amount 1 lakh. Rate of interest is assumed that 8%, and year is 1 year. Okay, so when you give year 1 year, I'll be getting 8%. I'll be getting 8% is 8,000, right? So you'll be getting 1 lakh 8,000 will be getting after 1 year. After 2 year, if you want to calculate, you'll be getting this much. Okay, and after 3 year you'll be getting this much. After 4 year you'll be getting this much. After 5 year you'll be getting this, right? So you'll be getting a output. For example, 1 lakh, assume that 15%. So if it is 15%, and if it is year is 1 year, you'll be getting some amount like this, right? 5 years means you'll be getting 1,75,000 rupees. After 5 years you'll be getting 1,07,750 rupees. The result you can display it anywhere, and you can give a style also. For the result you can give a styling, background color, everything you can apply. So using this concept, you have to do the first question. The first question is actually mentioned here. It is loan EMI calculator. Same way 3 input you have to take, and when you are displaying, you have to give some background color, the result here, total interest, everything you have to calculate. How will you calculate? So here I have given the formula. First you take the loan amount and annual interest rate tenor, then calculate the EMI first. After calculating EMI, you can calculate the total repayment, which is a EMI multiplied by number of months, and total interest is equal to total repayment minus the original loan amount. So if you subtract that, you will get the total interest. For example, 5 lakh is loan amount. If you subtract the 5 lakh from the total repayment amount, you will get the total interest to be paid. So in that way you have to calculate. Okay, so you have to complete the first question based on this concept. Here you have to use on-keyup event. So when I modify itself, it should reflect. For example, if I modify the value of this loan amount 2 lakh, if I am putting 2 lakh, so the amount is changing, right? So and if I change the interest rate 11%, the result is changing. So this is happening when you are using this ng-keyup calculate function. ng-keyup calculate function, when you are calling, when you change any value from the text box, that function will be called, and the corresponding value will be taken, and it will calculate, and it will update the result. So this is about first question. Next, coming to the second question, you have to use array concept. So now let's see how to do this second question. So in this question, we have to create an array to store the product name and product price. When I click the button, add button, I want to store these two values in the array. Now after storing the values, I want to display the value inside this table, name, price, and I want include one more functionality for removing the item. Okay, for example, I want to delete one item, so you can provide one option to delete. So now to do that, I'll give a small example how to do that. I'll add one more HTML program, array. So here I'm going to demonstrate how to develop the second question. So here also same thing, just go to the head section, and from the previous program you can copy this entire script tag. not only this one, including this one also. First copy this angular.min.js, you have to include, copy that code, and the previous program I have done script tag. The same coding again I'm going to type. Instead of typing, I'll just take this, okay, and here I'll remove this. So here the controller name I'm going to change product, okay, so it's a controller name, right? Now this, in order to link this my app and product, go to mod body section, use ng-app is equal to my app, then ng-controller is equal to product, the name of the controller defined inside the script tag. So now here I have to create one interface for getting the product name and product price, right? So here product name and product price, two text boxes I have to create. So let's see how to do that. Product name, you can use input type is equal to text, and you have to use ng-model. This is a product name, right? Product name. So give one name for this model, and the next line, we can use the same thing, you can repeat, you can copy this product name and product price. Product name, product price. So here I have created ng model product name, this is product price, right? Then what we need one button to add, so you can include one button. So inside button we can write some text, add items, okay, add item in the inventory, right? So how we are going to demonstrate this inventory is using array concept. We are going to use Angularjs array concept. So first thing, you have to create array for storing this product name and product price. So you can create two arrays inside the controller. You can create two array. Scope dot one is product names array. So next, prices array. Two array you can create. Now I want to perform two tasks. One is add item. So when I click this add item, I want to perform one task. So we can create one function, scope dot add item, which is equal to one function you have to create. Go inside. So here we have to write the logic how to add the item in the array, right? So in order to call this function, there is like ng, we have discussed AngularJS even ng-keyup, right? Similarly, what we have, there is one more event called ng-click. So if you are working with the button, you can use ng-click. If you want to trigger the function from text boxes, you have to use ng-keyup. So this ng-click we can you can use inside this button, ng-click equal to add, the function name is add item function, we have to call this function, we have to call. So when I click this add button, I want to read the value of this product name, product price, and I want to insert in this array. So we can write the logic. It's very simple. You have to use the names array. There is a function, push function. Inside you have to push the product name. The same way, the same time, price also we have to take from the second text box and push on to the second array. Scope dot prices dot, sorry, prices is prices dot push inside scope dot product price. Right. So now from this first text box, the data will be taken and it will be pushed on to the first array. From this second text box, the product price will be taken and it will push on to the second array, right? So now the product items will be added in this array. From this array, I want to display in a table format as per the question. So here you can see the question. So inside table format, I want to display the product item. So first we need to create a table after this button. We can build one table. So you can use style tag and you can mention border. Otherwise you can use this border. So style tag we can use style width. You can specify some percentage, 50% of the screen I want to create, and I want to make it margin. I want to make it center of the page, so margin left we can use auto. So inside this table I want to create the first row. The first row I have to display th name, th price. The third column is th remove option to remove the item. So this is the first row will be created. So when I run the program, it look like this. It's coming in the center of the page. I think that is not needed. This margin left, we can remove that. Instead of that, we can give a border. So there is one more way we can give border. Border is equal to 1. Cell spacing equal to 0. And the first row you can give some coloring like background color, style, background hyphen color, blue, text color, white. So it look like this, and you can adjust that border and all. And after add item button, you can give one line space also. You can give one more break. So it's look like this, right? So when I'm adding the items, I want to display the data here inside this table, right? So that's our target, right? So in order to do that, I have created one row which will show the name, price, and remove. Okay, this data, it is visible, right? Similarly, I have to generate one more row which contains the value from the array items, names. From this array I want to iterate. So for that, in Angularjs there is a one concept called ng-repeat. Using ng-repeat, we can iterate the values from the array and we can display it inside the table format or list format, any UI element. Even you can do it with the paragraph, div element, anyway. Okay, so if you want to repeat some element, you can use ng-repeat. So for example, I want to repeat this table row, so I have to go inside and write ng-repeat. Inside ng-repeat, I have to take each and every value from the array. So that array variable is actually here the array variable is names. So this names I can access directly here, and every item we can take like this: item in names track by. So there is one more keyword called track by index. I'll tell you why I'm taking this track by index. So item in names. So this item in names expression will take every value from this names array. From this names array will take every values. Now I can display the values here. The first column I have to display the name of the item, right? Then the second column I have to display the price of the item. So price is stored in prices array, right? So here The price is actually the corresponding price will be stored in the prices array. So now, so in order to access the price, I'm taking this track by index. So now I'll be getting one index position of the first product name. So if I pass the same position inside this prices, I'll get the same price, right? So we can use that prices array square bracket pass this index. So we'll get the corresponding item price I can able to access. So that is a second column, price. The third column is here we have remove status. So here I want to provide one remove option. So remove option you can create like this span. You can create a span tag. Inside span tag we can display some option delete, and this delete you should display in a red color format. Okay, so you have to use color is equal to red, and when I keep the mouse over the item I want to show cursor pointer, so you can use cursor equal to pointer. So you'll get a hand symbol, clickable hand symbol. Now what I have to do is when I click this delete button, I want to call one more function. When I click the delete button, I want to call one more function which I am going to create here. Scope dot remove function is equal to, I'm going to create one function here. Using this function only I am going to remove the items. So this function I have to call when I click this delete button, delete text. Okay, so for that we can write, so we can write ng-click. ng-click I have to call remove function. Which one we want to remove, that also done by using this index. Using this index only I can able to understand which one to delete. For example, in this question I have apple 200 rupees, mango 80 rupees. I want to delete mango. So when I click delete button, how to understand I want to delete mango? So if you know the index position only, we can able to delete the particular properly the particular item, right? So this index position we can take from here, and you can pass it to this index remove function. So this remove function will be called. Inside the remove function, inside this function parenthesis, we have to receive the index. We have to receive the index. Now we have to delete. So to delete in JavaScript, inside array, if you want to delete any item, you can use splice function. So take that scope dot names splice function, give the index value. Then second argument is how many item to be deleted. Only one item I want to delete. The same thing you have to do it for the prices array also. Prices. So splice function is to remove the data. So in the position, one item will be removed, right? And remaining styling and all, you can try that. Okay, and for example I want to align at item central element, right? So we can give every rows, we can give a style text align center. So text align center we can give, and the same thing you can give here also, text align style. Right, so that's all about that program. Right, so there is one small mistake here. We have to display the item like this using double curly bracket. So we have to use the expression, Angularjs expression for displaying the items. So right, so now let's see the output here. Save the program. So first product apple 200 rupees. Now it's added, apple 200 is added. If you want to put rupees, you can use there's a way we can include. Before this double curly bracket you can use rs dot, you can add rs dot So this will include the rupees. Apple 200, you'll get to 200 rupees. Then mango 80 rupees. Orange 60 rupees. Pineapple 180 rupees. So now the product is added, and now see, when you keep the mouse over the delete button, we can delete the remove the item. For example, I want to remove mango. So if I click mango, the mango is deleted, and if you click apple, apple is removed, pineapple is removed, orange is removed. Again we can add item apple, pineapple, and apple we can add again. It's just like a inventory demonstration, inventory product inventory management. So again you can include that. So like this you can implement Angularjs for adding for creating a product inventory system. So using this concept, you have to complete the second question. Second question is almost I have done that, so you can continue that. You just follow this procedure, complete, practice this question, and after that prepare the e-record, and finally upload the e-record, right? So thank you all.